Hi, Fems. Happy Monday. I am Violette Ayala. I'm the founder of FemCity, and you're joining us today for our panel discussion. Today, we're going to talk all about the power of failure. I think that's how I phrased it. The benefit of failure and the beauty in failing as well. And I asked these amazing women for our FemCity Global Program to join me today. I'm already kind of silly because we were giggling behind in the green room. So I'm already like a little bit silly. But if you are joining us live, please join along in the conversation. Our collective intention is to help you go through moments where you do think you are in a state of failure, and we want to help you propel that and leverage that into a beautiful place of grand success. So just to kind of start us off, we're going to go, Hannah, share a little bit about yourself, and then we'll go to Kim and Tammey.
Hello, yes, my name is Hannah Wilson. I am a Global FemCity member, and I also run the Midwest Virtual Collective chapter. I run a female-focused wealth management practice, is my day job, is what I like to call it, and I'm located in Grinnell, Iowa.
Awesome, thank you so much. Let's go to Kim. Share a little bit about yourself.
So, hi, I'm Kim Thompson-Pinder. I am a global member. I do not lead a FemCity group, but I love to teach entrepreneurs, professionals, speakers, and coaches how to become the authority in their niche using the 6 key building blocks of authority marketing, and then how to do it 10 times faster by becoming an author in my Author to Authority program.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And Tammey, share a little bit about yourself.
Good morning and happy Monday. I am Tammey Grable-Woodford, also a Global FemCity member. I help entrepreneurs and small business owners get unstuck, say goodbye to overwhelm, and break through plateaus so they can profitably scale. I also host my globally recognized podcast that discusses all things breast cancer, as I am a 6-year survivor. Excited to be here. This topic is something I am super passionate about.
Yeah, I love it. So we were talking while we were preparing in the green room, how this topic about the benefits of failure, the beauty in failure, and how it's so important for us when we do fail to leverage it into a place of success. I wish, because we were talking about how you always hear that, like, oh, it's so great to fail, like that's where, and you're like, no, it's not. Like when you're down at the bottom, you're like, this is not good. This is horrible. I hate failing. So we're going to talk about that today. And again, if you're watching us, please join the conversation. We already have Teresa here with us. And if you're watching this in the library many months from now, feel free to reach out to any of our panels here. We're all here to help you. So let's just start with the important question. What was a time that you failed, but it turned out to be very successful? And my intention in asking that question is we get inspired by the stories of others. And so 3 of us here, I can share my own also, we will empower you to recognize that there is no failure. It's all about success. Go ahead, Hannah.
Yes, thanks. I love this topic as well. I wish that I would have heard this topic last summer, and that's what I'm going to talk about is the failure that I experienced last summer, and hopefully somebody will be able to learn from my experience and be able to grow a little bit because of it. And so, like I mentioned, I run a female-focused wealth management practice, and I really focus on developing personalized strategies for women in transitional periods of life. And if you would have asked me what I did last year, that's not the definition I would have given you of what I did and who I helped, because I didn't have the clarity of the type of client that I wanted to serve and who I was really passionate about. And so when I've been in business for 2 years now, in the financial services industry. And when I entered it, I knew I was coming into financial services because I was passionate about helping other people. And I loved accounting and numbers. And so I was like, this is a great spot to merge both of those 2 things together. But I really didn't know who I was passionate about helping, the type of person and why. And so I work for a firm that has great training, but it's got a general training program, like all training programs really are. And so I went through this, and in the financial services industry, it's such a male-dominated industry that we have here. And so the trainings that I went through were really, pointed at men, and I just didn't fit the mold really. And so I felt like I was taking myself and I was shoving it into this really this outline of something that wasn't true to me. And I wasn't quite sure how to vocalize it, and I was trying to meet performance standards, and I was trying to work with people, but I didn't get it. It wasn't working, and I didn't know why. And that was so frustrating when you're like, I'm putting in the work, I'm doing the things, and I don't know why I'm not experiencing success on the other end, when I saw people doing the exact same things that I was doing and they were experiencing success. And that was very frustrating for me. I went down this huge rabbit hole of comparison. I was looking at every other entrepreneur, every other financial services person, and I was like, they're doing this and I'm not doing it, and why is that not working? And that was very, very frustrating for me. But by hitting that bottom moment, it gave me, I came to this point of deciding either I'm going to quit and I'm going to, fail and walk away from this, or I'm going to look deep within. And that's what I chose to do. It really gave me this opportunity to try things my way for the first time ever. And it was unfortunate for me that it was that last straw thing that gave me the permission to do things the way I wanted to do them. But it was that failure, that bottom moment, that gave me the permission I needed to try things differently and to ask myself those deep questions about why I was doing what I was doing, who I was really passionate about working with. And since in the last year, I've seen more success than I ever even dreamed of in those moments of failure. So it's been great. Failure was one that in my life.
I love it. And I love that you mentioned comparison, because I think so many times we compare, well, not so many times, I know we all, right? It's a natural instinct to go ahead and compare ourselves to others and where they are and how they're doing it and how come that's not working for us. And then we feel like that failure. But the reality is it's always a platform there to leverage ourselves into another avenue that can lead to tremendous success and growth. Kim, let's hear your story about a time that you failed and it was actually really, really successful.
So my story revolves around two quotes. The first quote is, I never fail, I succeed or I learn. And so to be honest, I had lots of different failures, but I had a season of failure. About the first 10 years of my entrepreneurial journey, I floundered. It wasn't that I never got any results, okay, but I never had any success. I just kind of floundered all over the place. But through it all, and I didn't realize it at the time, each kind of step in that entrepreneurial journey was teaching me a valuable lesson that I'm using now. So those first 10 years, as frustrating as they were, laid such an incredible foundation for what I'm doing now. But if you'd asked me back then, there were so many times I wanted to quit. And I actually did. When my dad died, I quit for a couple of years. I just needed to grieve and downtime, and I was working, and then I stopped working because I was on the verge of a nervous breakdown. So I took a break in there, but entrepreneur is in my soul. So, but those lessons I learned were so incredible now. And I think that's the thing that sometimes we forget, is everything that you've gone through is preparing you for what you're going to go through. And so I want to encourage you that even if, you're in that kind of season where you feel like you're failing your way forward, well, failing your way forward isn't a bad thing, because you fail your way to a foundation that builds for success. And there's another, I think one of the things that I kind of regret, there's another quote that says, when is the most amazing time to start something? 20 years ago. When's the second best time to start something? Now. I look back, and I was actually commenting on it on the Facebook Live I do every Monday morning, Kim's Monday Mug of Motivation. I was commenting on the fact that, had I started building a network 10 years ago instead of even 5 years ago, I can't even imagine where I would be now. But you can look at it and say, okay, I didn't do it. I missed out on the opportunity. No, the opportunity is always now. It's what you do with it. So start now, pay your dues, build that network, build that business, do the things you're supposed to do. You know, in the beginning, it seems like you're failing. Well, you're not failing. You're building that foundation. And when you're building a foundation, you're stuck in the ground in the mud and it feels like nothing's ever moving forward. But once you get that foundation laid, the rest of the house goes up pretty quickly.
Love that. Excellent, excellent. I love it. It's like the pieces, all the little alignments, all the little shifts, all the little things that happen lead us into this really great place where we can tap into all that experience. And now you help others do the same on, with your program. Tammey, what is your story of failure becoming a great platform for success?
I love this, though I did not love it at the time. After going through breast cancer and what I really call the annihilation of so much of my life, including my career, I got busy climbing my way back up to my 6-figure executive position. And I found what I thought would be the perfect position for me. It was in a growth industry. I was passionate about it. It offered challenge, the pay, the benefits, everything was there. Everything about my history, my experience, and my education said that this position should have been a slam dunk of success. Obviously it wasn't, or we wouldn't be talking about it. I tried to make it work. And really what I realized is that it wasn't so much the position, but it was this toxic work environment and this life balance that I had lost, or harmony that I had lost. And at first I blamed cancer. I said, cancer must have broken me. Why is this not working? This is the skills, the knowledge, everything that I have, everything that has brought me success in the past. And as Hannah said, comparison, I was comparing to myself, to my own past successes. And I think in some ways that was even more detrimental, especially to my confidence. And blaming myself, I would say it's, if I just, and I had so many things that would pop into that sentence, if I just, and then I realized the universe was offering me guidance. And I was miserable because I was fighting it. Like a butterfly, I'd momentarily wrap myself in my old normal. And that failure was the chrysalis, that really yucky part that from which I would emerge a successful entrepreneur, creating my own security, building my environment, an environment and career that I love and I love to step into every day, where I get to work with impassioned people who are so excited about what they have going on and help them seek their success. And so it really took what I call the 2x4 to the forehead from the universe to say, this is no longer your path. And I failed so hard. And it was so hard on me and it was so hard on my confidence. But on my way back, it became so much more powerful. And a quote I love is from Winston Churchill that says, success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It's the courage to continue that counts.
Love that. And some love came through. By the way, I wrote down, I think that this is exactly how you said it. Wrap yourself in the old normal. I think that sentence there is really powerful. So some love came through. We've got someone who said, for Kim, I love that quote, Kim, 20 years ago or now, regret accomplishes nothing. Every day we get to begin again, a great reminder. And I'll share my quick, one of my biggest failure moments was when I owned my Pilates studio. I owned a Pilates studio for almost 10 years and I couldn't scale it. So I had a couple of satellite locations and I could not scale it beyond that into other cities and other markets. And so I ended up closing up that Pilates studio and considered myself a big failure, right? Even though for 10 years I ran it, it was really successful. We were always voted top, studio. I mean, it was so much fun. It was the best. It was just amazing. But I blanketed it with this terminology of being a failure because I couldn't scale it beyond that. And I had that sitting on myself for many, many years, just feeling like I'm not going to be in business for myself ever again because I'm such a huge failure, if I can't scale this into other markets. And then I started FemCity and I was like, I can't have it fail like that. And I did everything in the opposite, right? So I started the Pilates studio as a passion project. I really loved it. It was like, I made it small. It was just perfect for the time of my life. And with FemCity, I was like, I need it to live beyond Violette. I need it to not be about Violette. I need it to be scalable. So even from the very, very beginning, just doing the manuals to train our leaders, doing all of the, like having it so that it can scale into millions of chapters around the world. But that's one of my biggest, because I actually felt like a failure for many years until I realized all of what I went through was actually in preparation for starting FemCity. So that's my little participation for the conversation. So let's go ahead. We're going to start closing out right now. What is your advice for someone who is feeling like a really big failure right now? What's your advice for them to shift it into that mindset of this is going to be a great platform to use into being more of a success? And also, how can Fems find you to learn more about your work that you're doing? So let's go to Hannah.
Yeah, man, this one was hard for me because I felt like I wanted to write a novel about all the advice that I had for people who are going through this, because for me, it's still really fresh. I mean, this was something that I experienced not even a year ago. And so it holds a big place in my heart. And so I'll share just a few little like snippets of information. But one of the things is write down what you're going through right now. Like keep a catalog of what's happening in your life and the way that you're feeling, because this is not the last time you're going to experience this. And I think for me, it's one of the reasons why I tell my story so frequently of failure, is so that I have something to go back and remember when I am experiencing this again in the future, of what it felt like, what I did to get through it, what that felt like, and how it felt to be on the other side, to give myself hope and to give others hope who are experiencing it. Because this is not, if you're experiencing failure right now, unfortunately, you're going to experience it again. And if you're reflecting back on those moments, like we all are going to experience those things again. And another piece that was really hard for me was not being afraid to set goals. After you fail so many times, I really went through a 5-year period when outside of this business and then inside of this business where I set a goal and I did not achieve it in every area of my life. It was my health and fitness goals. It was my business oriented goals. I was having a really hard time looking out into the future because I kept failing and failing. And I was like, I don't even know what this means for my life moving forward. Like, how do I look at the future when I can't even achieve a goal I set for this week? And so I got to a point once I started to see a little bit of success, I was like, I don't want to set goals for the future because I don't want to fail again. Like I've experienced this little nugget of success and I want to live here. I don't want to set a big dream and then experience what it's like to not hit it. And so don't be afraid to set those big goals again. Allow yourself to dream and trust yourself that like listen to your guidance, listen to, whatever you believe in, but spend some time with yourself of what you really want. Write it down and don't be afraid to work hard to go get it. So those are my little like nuggets of information. And you can find me in a lot of different places, but a great spot to start is just www.edwardjones.com/Hannah-Wilson. From there, you can link to all my different social media. And then you could also reach out to me personally if you'd like.
Thank you, Hannah. Love that. Let's go to Kim. Your final advice, Kim, for those that are looking at really trying to absorb this failure state into a place of grand success, and how can Fems find you?
I think you need to change your mindset on failure. Really, your entrepreneurial business is a journey. It's not you start here and you reach the end goal. It's an ongoing process of growth. And every time you go to start that new stage, no matter what size business you are, I've got a very successful business. I am moving into a new stage. Sometimes it scares me, right? And sometimes I think, am I really ready for this? But look at it as each thing that you learn, each time you try something and you fail, it only is going to grow you. I mean, think of what happened, what our world would be like if Thomas Edison did not try to create the light bulb 1,000 times. How much of our technology is based on light? And what if he had given up? So, it's not how many times you have to try. It's the fact that you keep trying and you keep learning and you keep growing. And like Hannah said, you don't compare yourself to anyone else. The only person you are in competition with is the person you are right now. Your only goal, see, my goal is growth. And sometimes growth means going backwards. There's a quote that talks about, an arrow. Before an arrow is shot, it gets pulled backwards quite a bit. And sometimes you may feel like in life that you're being pulled backwards. The only thing that's happening is you're being prepared to be shot forwards.
I love that analogy.
So, don't look at it as failure. Look at it as growth. And I've got, you can find me on Facebook, Kim Thompson-Pinder. I'm the only one. You can join my free Author to Authority group where I teach you the keys of authority marketing. We have a lot of fun in that group, also with wordplay. So search out Author to Authority. I have the Author to Authority podcast if you love podcasting. And if you are interested, I am releasing my book this summer, obviously called Author to Authority. And if you want a free excerpt, you can go to authortoauthority.com/get-the-book.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kim. Love that. And let's go to Tammey.
Oh, goodness. It's tough to follow Kim and Hannah, but here's my advice. You're an entrepreneur. You listening to this are likely, anyway, an entrepreneur. That's why you're here. And entrepreneurs, on average, fail 3.8 times before they reach their final success. Entrepreneurs average 3.8 failures before final success. So don't avoid failure, embrace it. But when I say embrace it, this is the key. I don't mean wear it as a fault in your armor of confidence. I mean, embrace it as a learning opportunity for betterment, because your first will always be your worst. It's going to be your least practiced. It's going to be your least confident effort. And that is okay. That is simply the law of nature. So when you feel failure begin to tighten its grip around you, think to yourself, what is the worst that could happen? If you fail, what is the worst that could happen? Napoleon Hill said that every failure brings with it the seed of an equivalent success. Don't rob yourself of success because you're afraid to fail. Mm-hmm. So for connecting, the easiest way to find me is wherever you found me right now. So if you're out on Facebook, feel free to connect with me here. And I love connecting with entrepreneurs and helping them grow. So it'd be an honor to connect. I also offer a free 30-minute strategy call, and I'm happy to have a conversation with you about your business, where you're going, how you'd like to get there, or any maybe failures or fears that you're facing. And I also have a blog post on using chaos and failure to cultivate entrepreneurial resilience. You can find the blog post and scheduling link at Taniant, TANIANT.com, or just slide on into my DMs and I will send you a direct link to either of those.
Awesome. And we'll make it really easy for those that are watching to connect with them. We'll go ahead and link it over on Facebook and have their name also in the FemCity library later on. So thank you so much, ladies, for all of this. It was amazing. For those that are watching, we hope that this inspired you to move forward, to rewire your brain, to look at failure as a really great platform for success. And if you've never heard about FemCity and want to try us out, head over to FemCity.com. We have a free 30-day trial. And we will be back here on Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern time. Until then, we wish you guys a great kickoff to the week. Thanks so much for joining us. Mwah! Bye.